question is, who's the better hitter? Right? And the answer is, it depends. Okay? So, if you're playing a really good opponent who has a dig to kill ratio of 33%, so 1 in 3 balls will be scored against you. Keep it in play with him. If they dig that ball, 1 in 3 balls is going to come back as a point for them. Right? In that case, for Meg, she doesn't have 2 points because there's no balls in play. They're either kills or they're errors. Right? So 6 minus 4 is 2 plus points. Sam's case is tricky. She has 3 kills, but there's 6 balls left in play. Right? A third of 6 is 2 points that are going to be scored against you, so she only gives you 1 net point. That's a problem. And the other problem about keeping balls in play against a good team is you end up in this big rally thing. And rallies are bad because sooner or later somebody's going to make a mistake. And it's probably going to be you. Right? So if you know your numbers, you know how risky those rallies are. Okay? However, you play a not great opponent, right? Opponent who's like hitting half the balls out. Then keeping the ball in play is a good thing. If you let them now take the ball and make an error, we don't have to do anything on our side. We'll just take your points from them. Those gift points. Right? Those are the games when you feel like the team didn't play very well, but you still won that a lot. Because the other side gifting you a lot of points. Lots of service errors, lots of hitting errors. Oh, that's good. Okay. All right, digging. Digging will have to be tracked in the rally in order to determine this number. And the typical number you want to look at is digs per game. Now, the one thing you have to realize is that if you have a really aggressive dynamic digger, she may get her hands on touch a lot of balls that are errors. But what I found typically is that kind of player usually digs enough balls to compensate for the errors. You have other players that are kind of static and the ball's not even there. They don't even make a move, right? So sometimes you might consider, like, is that their zone? You might want to chart that ball as a dig error to that person. Okay? When you're doing stats, it's important not to give the other team any points. So don't give the other team an ace, give your team a C grade. Don't give the other team a kill, give your team a dig or a blocking. Okay? Because if you don't do that, you won't know how to fix the stuff on your side of the court. You don't care about the opponent per se. Right? You don't have any ability to adjust that. So think about what's happening on your side of the court and stat accordingly. Blocking. The main thing about blocking is that the points scored per game are pretty low, right? At the highest level of volleyball, highest level of college volleyball, like Stanford probably makes about 3 block points per game. Okay? You're probably at about 1 or less. That's my guess. So when you teach blocking, don't get too crazy about it. Think about zone blocking and just making a nice tight block. People are pressing over the net rather than trying to score. Okay? Because it's a losing battle to try to score. When you try to really get that ball and try to score on, you get lots of errors. Right? So make it easy for the defense behind them, like setting up a clean block. And do things like commit blocking. Right? Say, hey, forget about the middle. Just get outside the close ball. They can't hit the middle. Or if they hit the middle, it's not coming fast enough to worry about. But whatever. You have to decide, right? But try not to get too invested in it because it's the hardest skill in volleyball. There's so many factors going on, right? How fast is the set? How far is the set off the net? What's the approach angle? What's the speed of the process? How fast is your middle closing? Is your outside block in the right place? Right? The timing factors in the set block is so complicated, it's the hardest skill to learn. And some people have a knack for it. They really have a knack for it. Most people don't. And it's the worst thing is you have a short person who's a pretty good blocker because they can figure it out, and a tall person who's way over the net can't figure out where the ball is half the time. That's very frustrating. And we have that in college a lot. Okay, so now we're going to go into more detailed rotational analysis, right? Looking at each rotation. And so, you should get something like this where you see the received rotations, and you basically pick out the low rotation, low percentage rotation, and try to deal with that and figure out what the problem is there. Okay? So just dive forward. We're working on the time. Okay, so in the Web Reports product, if you click on the receive rotation, it will expand out. And it will show you in detail who's contributing and who's losing points in the rotation. So in this case, we have one column area that's noticeable, which is Charlotte, it's got -3 and hitting. And it turns out that this is rotation 4, Charlotte's the opposite. She's hitting out back off. Right? So now we can link this to video and then be able to see how those errors are being generated. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. Right? But that's another level of analysis you can do. So you can do it two ways. You can just say, well, I don't know what's going on, but we'll just practice rotation 3 and settle on balls and see what happens. Right? The advantage is, if you have an hour to practice receiving, right, it's much better ROI if you spend it all on the bad rotation rather than split it across 6 rotations. Right? Because then you only get about 10 minutes per rotation and you haven't learned anything. Right? If you spend an hour in a rotation, it's a whole different deal. You can really start to see what the issues are and iron out the things. Okay, so there's another way to get better, efficient use of your time. Okay, let me drop out and show you the video example because I think this is important to see how simple the process really is. Okay, so this is called Solostats Video, and let me show you how to link up the components. So the first thing you do is you put a camera on a tripod behind the board, just let it run for the entire set. Don't stop the camera, okay? And then you're going to upload it to YouTube, and I do this like after a tournament, I just upload it all overnight, so the next morning they're ready to go. It takes a while. Once you're in YouTube, then at the bottom, there's a share button, and then you just take this URL and copy that. And you take it over to Solostats Video. You go to the setup area, and this was game 2 of this Diablo game. It's game 2. Then I'm going to add a video, so I'll paste it in here, and I'll say OK. Right now, all I have to do is I have to look for the first play, which is a serving error by Stephanie. Stephanie's the girl in the white little girl. Okay. So now, all we have to do is see her serve, and then as soon as we see that error, then we synchronize that, we're done. Right, so she served the ball, it goes out. Oh, we see that. Okay. So we press synchronize, and now you see the check marks on the right side here. All right, so now if we go down here, let's just say, let's look at Kendall, and let's see how her serve goes. So now the rest of the video has been synchronized because it's all time-stamped. Okay? So there's Kendall, she serves the ball, there it goes, and it's an ace. Okay, that's how simple it is. All right, so this will provide you much more visual feedback. So as an example, if you go to the filter page, you can actually select players. So like, I've already selected Sika here, and you can see whatever combination, so whatever rotation you want, and what other skill that you want them to be executed. So in this case, I'm looking at her spikes. Then I'll go to the results page, and the ones with the check marks indicate that there's a video. So now I go to this particular line, it's against synergy, and she earns a spike. Okay? So you see it's synchronized now to that point, and she's a middle hitter. Here it comes, pass comes up. Okay? So now you see all of these plays in here are synchronized points from the season. So you can actually tell exactly what's going on by the plays. And you can do lots of analysis that way. Right? And it takes very little time. All you got to do is set up the camera and then upload to YouTube. Once you have your stats taken, the Solostats, the rest of it's automatic. All right, so it takes very little time to do that. I should probably let these folks come in. If you want to take some questions, we can talk a little bit outside if you're interested, so that they can start. Thank you.
Thank you. couple minutes.
And it is. It is.
Yeah, if you have any questions, just contact me. It's Kyle. We'll take it. Great.
Yeah, I appreciate you. It looks like a fabulous program.
Yeah, it's easy to use. Yeah.
Go. All right, we'll get Kevin going right away so you can have all the time he needs. Kevin Hamley talking about building a culture on and off.
So, start off with some stuff about